Just look what he's done, feelings.
Sincere by MJ Cole is one of the most beautiful and organic sounding dance tracks ever made. I absolutely love it, and it's had a huge influence on dance music, especially UK garage. So I was really shocked to learn that the vocals for it weren't recorded in a session, especially like with a vocalist. They were actually all selected out of hundreds of phrases on this sample pack. So when I recreated this tune in Ableton, I realised it's an absolute masterclass in sampling, groove, arrangement, and it's chock full of genius ideas you can take into your own production. I also want to tell you why it's known in my house as the fish and chips song. So let's have a look. Immediately we've got such a cool lot of sampling going on, so let's unpack it. There's a few things going on here. This sample is from the Stevie Wonder track called Lately. If we take off the filter, so we've got this intro to the Stevie Wonder track and pitched it up a bit. And just that's the part. Then a bit of EQ, a bit of filtering. That's the first bit. And then we've got another part of the same track, but reversed. So if we go into this sample, also filtered. So this is just the very first line, but reversed. Two bits from the same track. Then we've got actually a sample from a drum and bass track. So MJ Cole is basically a drum and bass producer, or worked for a studio that their focus was drum and bass. So this is a track called Long Sex. Sorry, reversed. If we unreverse it, and by the way, big up the people on Who Sampled and the people that dig out all these samples. Couldn't do it without you. So yeah, that, but then pitched up to A and then reversed, and then we get that meow meow vocals. And then finally we get one vocal chop from the sample pack I'm going to talk a lot more about, and that's this O. So all together. Oh, and I also added just a high string, quite subtle. I'm just using Omnisphere for this. Using a Selena. I just noticed it was there in the original, some kind of high string. So all together. Already so rich, just those, like, it's kind of quite a lot going on, isn't it? Like, simple but so effective. Then we have the drums coming in with a lovely low pass filter, and we'll talk about the drums in just a sec, but let's listen to them come in.
Let's take a ride.
Such a tune. It's one of those tunes you just don't tire of, I find. So let's quickly look at the drums. So what I did is, it would have been a fool's errand to try and find the exact same drum sounds he used. So I did actually chop these out of his break. So I used his drums, but then I resequenced them so we can see what's going on with them. So let's have a little listen. So one really big thing that is a huge part of MJ Cole's sound is these lengths, and the way he's got the sampler set up so that the length of the note dictates the length of the sample. So you can have it as like a one shot, whereas if you trigger it, it triggers the whole thing. But it really makes a difference to the sound. If we listen to the kick here, like if those were longer, it would just really change the vibe. I mean, you may argue it's not that noticeable, but it happens a lot in this track and it makes a huge difference. Basically, lovely pattern, and what's really noticeable is the swing. This is so late. Like this hit would probably naturally, if you do it on the grid, would be there. Like that sounds right, doesn't it? But it's so late, but it's just in the pocket, and that is, you know, one of the genius things about amazing drums is finding that. I think maybe he did use some swing, but I think as well he plays so much of his sounds in. I think he slows it down and plays it in probably, but we've just got really interesting swing. Like this is late, this is late. Like if that was kind of more on the grid, it would be there. Like listen to how robotic that is, because this is on exactly, but that sounds so robotic and lame compared to this. It's so funny, such a tiny detail, but just this is where the magic is, guys. This is what it's all about. So yeah, beautiful little drum pattern. Also, just you need to note the drum sounds. They just work perfectly. Nice kick. It's got weight, but it's also got a bit of mid-range. The snare really jumps out of the mix. A lot of nice top end, but a bit of weight to it as well. Beautiful. And then we'll talk about the arrangement as we go on, but we've got this bit where it drops into 4/4 and actually just kind of turns into a 4/4 tune. So basically the hats are the same, and then we have a few extra sounds coming in here. So just that's a great example of the swing. Like if that was quantized, it sounds alright, but it misses that skip. I mean, just that is a huge lesson. Like we can just take so much from that. Okay, let's go back to the rest of the drop and see what we've got.
Let's take a ride.
Let's look at this. So let's just look at the sample. This is also the same Stevie Wonder track, with a nice bit of, I'm actually using this Air Windows because I think he had an EMU sampler. So I'm just using that, quite a bit of low pass and then quite a big bump in the mid-range with the EQ, and that just repeats like that. And then we have basically the same as in the intro, but it's sequenced a little bit differently. So together it's that. It's so satisfying to me when I get so close. I'm really happy with this tune, how close I've got. Then we've got beautiful bass. Now I think I've been splitting the tracks up a bit, so that really helped me to get the MIDI. And again, you'll see the note lengths, they're always different. Yeah, there's another pattern here, a lot of swing. This is the main bass throughout the whole tune. I just love it. So I just gave a little blast of what I called high horn. Now, I tried a few things. You can see these contact instruments. I tried to get something like, I think a clarinet, and I kind of pitched it up. It doesn't sound quite the same. I'm pretty sure it's a trumpet, but I did try. and then like pitch them up, but I couldn't get very close. So in the end, I did just chop it out of the tune. But it's, to me, quite clear it is like some kind of wind instrument pitched up. Is the way these were played in. Whoops. Sounds like a fart. Sorry. It's very swung, and it doesn't feel like it's just used one swing. He's really feels like he's played it in. Like, that's so late. Actually, no, it's quite on the grid. The thing is about this part is that there's loads of different ones. So he's got this pattern, then he's got this pattern, then that pattern again, then slightly different variation, then that one. So we'll talk about the vocals and Fish and Chips in just a sec, but I just want to point out the other really beautiful thing about this track and MJ Cole in general is that he can actually play a keyboard. So I did my best to recreate this. I knew he had a Rhodes, and there's this little, what I've called Rhodes sting. I haven't quite got it exact, but it's in the ballpark. I spent ages on this. I slowed it right down, and I think I did fairly well just using a Rhodes. This little sting happens quite a lot. And then the other thing is there's this little sound, and I was like, I didn't know what it was, but I knew he had a Rhodes, and then I just tried. I think this is just an octave. Yeah, and you wouldn't think the sound, like if you just played a Rhodes, like you wouldn't really necessarily think that that is a Rhodes, but when you play these two keys together, you get this little lovely sound, and evidently that's what he did.
Just look what he's done for me.
Again, played in, and quite a few little variations of the pattern. So the vocals. So yeah, they all come from this sample pack, and this is something I've tried to do. Like, I always want to work with vocalists. Really, it's so good. If you can have an amazing vocal for a track, it lifts it so much. But it's hard to find vocalists and arrange the time, and it's complicated and it's hard, and it often doesn't happen. You know, I've bought vocal sample packs before and tried to kind of cobble together something. I've never made it work. So I was so shocked when I realized that's what he'd done. So he's basically gone through, and I got the sample pack. It's called Back to Black, Volume 2. But there's tons.
Satisfy my love, I'll make you feel like in a mirror. Oh no.
Like, there's millions of samples. And he's gone through every single one and just picked out, oh, that's good, that's good, that's good. And he's got this kind of dream team of all the top sounds. So what I did to do the recreation was I kind of did it a little bit how he would have done it. I basically just made a zone for each sample. So there's all these.
Just look what he's done. Feeling so special. Caress me, I'm crazy. Don't do it, my eyes are. Love tonight, be sincere. Love tonight, be sincere.
So
Be sincere.
that is Fish and Chips. One time I was in the car with my son, and he was like, play the Fish and Chips song. And I was like, what are you on about? He was about 4-ish or something like that. Eventually we realised that it was this track, Be Sincere. He heard as Fish and Chips.
I'll be sincere.
Fish and Chips. I don't know, what do you think?
I want you tonight. Take a ride on the wild side. Baby, I love you. Joy.
Like that one. It's just the end of a bit. It's like, you give me joy.
He gives me so much joy.
He gives me so much joy. So this is it, man. Like, a lot of time and care went into these old tracks. Nowadays we're so spoiled. We want it all in 5 seconds and just to appear. But if you really take your time, you can make something amazing, and we can still do it now. It's not like we have the tools. We just need what's missing is that patience, I think. So that is the vocals, and I think it's even 2 different vocalists. You can hear there's a bit of difference. So let's just listen to the track.
Just look what he's done for me. My eyes are on you, so special. Just look.
Like, probably what he did, obviously I'm just guessing, but he probably just was listening to the track and playing with this. Like,
just look what he's done for me. Feelings so special, career. My eyes, I'm crazy.
you see, like, it sounds so much like it was always that way, but it obviously he's played it in, and you can tell he's played it in like where they hit.
Just look what he's done for me. My eyes are on you, so special. Just look what he's done for me, baby. My eyes are on you. Feelings.
Like, that doesn't actually, if you think about it, my eyes are on you, feelings. But like, you don't question it when you obviously hear it, but like when you're diving deep into it, yeah, that's like a little sign of what it actually is. So that's amazing, right? There's always so much to take away from this track. But the kind of final thing, or the final thing I want to focus on, is just like the arrangement. It really keeps your interest all the way through, partly because the parts are amazing, also because they're interestingly programmed. They're not all like on the grid. But then we've just got these bits where it switches up.
Feel it, don't do it. Be sincere. I'm crazy, don't do it.
So we've basically got like a little chorus here, haven't we? We've got a slightly different use of that. We've got this comes back. And then the big thing is this really cool little bass line. Now, just quickly to make the bass, I used Repro. This is the patch I use all the time, but I've tweaked it quite a lot, and I've added some chorus. I think I distorted it quite a lot, and then just brought the filter down. That's better.
I'm crazy, don't do it. Be sincere. Be sincere.
Then that flip into the 4/4.
Be sincere.
And then this beautiful little phrase he's playing,
Be sincere. Be sincere.
which I just about got. And I just want to say, like, there's all these plugins now where it's like humanizer. It'll like humanize your drums. The best humanizer is just, you are already a human. If you play stuff in, you don't have to play it in at that tempo either. Like, you can just slow it right down. It's a classic old trick, which I don't think people really do anymore. But like, yeah, just try and play stuff in. Honestly, it sounds stupid, but I think people forget to do that these days. So we've had, let's look at the arrangement. We've had a brilliant first section garage bit, then a chorus, then dropping into the 4/4, then back into the 2-step bit with new vocals.
Caress me. I want you tonight. I love you. Caress
Dropping to the 4/4.
I want you tonight. I love you. Just don't do it.
And there's a lovely little bit there you might not notice normally. It sounds like, it's a bit like the other phrase. Da-da-da-da-da.
I love you. Don't do it.
Chorus.
Be sincere. I'm crazy. Don't do it. Be sincere. Be sincere.
So here we have a new version of this sample. I don't think we've had it that high before. Yeah, that's on G. So this is an octave up. And then we've got this an octave up and playing in a different place. And then it kind of goes along with the bass, doesn't it?
Be sincere. Be sincere.
Lovely little fill there. Sounds like I didn't get it quite exactly right.
Be sincere. Let's take a
So it just brings in the two-step beat for the fill.
let's take a ride.
Right, that is one sample. I do not know where that is from. I just got it by extracting the parts. If you know where that's from, please let me know. I'd love to know. It's like the final little missing piece.
Let's take a ride on the wild side. Love tonight. Be sincere. Love tonight. Be sincere. Be sincere.
What a tune. I mean, I just had so much fun recreating this, and so satisfying. And if you'd like to get some of that satisfaction, I do have a course where I guide you to recreate a classic track step by step. And if you want to see another masterpiece of UK dance music, check out this video where I look at the mighty Belfast by Orbital.